guys, welcome back. Look, he's in the back helping. He's like, somebody said something not so nice about Daddy, huh? All Odin's people lose our minds if anybody says anything bad about Daddy. It doesn't matter if we have any other relationship, whether we consider ourselves as spouse, children of, however, kin to, grandchildren of. That's also Daddy. And don't talk bad about Daddy, because Odin's wolves get like, what? We're allowed to complain. We're allowed to complain, but don't anybody else say anything about Daddy. And I had this endearing experience as I've been working on this UFO thing. And I asked Loki, I said, and I asked them if I could talk about this. They're okay. I said, you knew this would happen, didn't you? He's like, And Loki indeed has his spaceship, and he has this whole world to explore. And I put his brother in a back corner, kind of like, I'll give him a healing temple, fine. And at first I'm resistant, because I always go into these builds with the idea it's going to be pure Loki for once. For once, nobody else is going to show up. And all the other gods show up and go, hey. And I'm like, gee, Bob. And I go to Loki, I go, but this is really, really your build this time, right? It's going to be pure Loki. And he's like, he doesn't need it all. He doesn't need it all. He's greedy, but not that much greedy. He doesn't need it all because he would get lonely and bored. He does like having everybody over, having a good party. So first I'm building his brother's healing temple, because his brother is known, Odin is known as a healing god. I'm like, I'm really not enjoying it. To be perfectly honest, I'm not enjoying it, and it showed. It really showed. It was like, fine, here's your healing temple, stupid old man. And in what we're going to call the basement of the spaceship, he has a little more healing stuff, because I started to warm up to him. And then I just keep going up on the ring of the spaceship and looking down. And you can look down on the Earth, the planet where we're supposed to be, and see how barren it is. Because when you first start on these maps, there's absolutely nothing. If you go on a map and there's like all these trees and everything, somebody put that in there. And I'm like, well, that doesn't look like a place I'd go to heal. That looks like a place I'd go to be, whatever. It looks like a place of corporal punishment or something. So I'm like, I know I have done builds in the past before, and Odin's been like swatting at plants and that. And I'm like, I don't care. This is going to be a healing place. It's going to be an outdoor temple. So I start adding in stuff, adding in a well. Once I added in the well, it's like his switch flipped. And this is where we get into stuff that makes people really mad in 2021. But with a few exceptions, and there are asexual exceptions. When you want to create life, you need a male and a female. There are exceptions out there. I'm not saying it has to be this way all the time, but you need the male and the female. For millennia, for countless eons, we've known that. And we usually say that the god comes down to the goddess Earth. Whatever, right? And Odin, as I build that whale, that very female, symbolism. I build that well, and I start putting in a couple more plants, because I'm like, I have to make it softer. He starts like pushing me a little bit, like, make something nice for the people that come here to heal, to go out to walk into, like a little garden. I'm like, I've never seen this part of his personality before. I have briefly, but it's on me that I chose not to work with it. It's my fault, not his. And then his god that came down in the beginning and union with the earth goddess part flips in, and I can't put enough plant material down. There's this line. There's the grumpy warrior Odin is on this side of the line, plants, and the phallic lover loving progenitor deity is on the other side, and he went nuts. We couldn't put enough plants in. We're making it beautiful. He's giving me advice. And then I found the flowers. And usually most Odin's people would be like, I don't know if I want to show him flowers. This side of his personality, couldn't get enough. Make it beautiful for her. It was very much about honoring the goddess, whether you call it Gaia, whether you call her Maya, whatever you call it, goddess, Yord, whatever. To honor, I'm getting, whatever you call her, to honor that feminine mother, to honor that Mother Earth, and to make this a beautiful thing, and to think of it as like healing this planet that we were building together. And we still have some items left. And he is well aware that I have 500 items. He is well aware of every single item I have the potential to put down. A lot of stuff's out of our inventory already, but he's well aware. And it was beautiful. And there's these paths you can walk on. And so I'm walking through these paths. I'm walking through this kind of jungly, tropical thing we got going on now. I'm like, this is part of Odin I've never seen. And this map, I thought I was making all the conscious decisions, but it was just clear that something had flown through me, out in through me. And even though I thought I was the one in the captain's chair, it was clearly divinity wanting to unfurl, wanting to say, this beauty, this abundance, this is what I want. And Loki couldn't be more pleased. He has his spaceship where he can party and be loud and raucous and everything. And there's a temple for the Greeks far over on one side, and Thor has a thing. And then, like, everybody else can go explore caves or whatever. I put a couple caves in. And there are oceans, and I put animals on the planet because we had a couple animals, not realistic looking, but we had a couple animals. And it's just been really endearing because now he has that beautiful forest, and he has a sea, and he has a healing temple. And then up on the ship, he has a library, and his library's on the same floor as the mess hall. It's all open, so you can see everything. And the beds, because I figured I would. It started coming to me like out of the stratosphere. What would I give the gods on a spaceship? Because we're all getting ready for June, right? I'm like, well, if we wanted to give our gods a spaceship to, say, even the playing field, not that it's going to be, some kind of scary encounter, and not that aliens are going to land in June, but what will we give them? And I'm like, I would want them to have a peaceful ship. I would want them to not be armed to the teeth. I would want a intergalactic federation. I would want peace, man. Who wants war? Who in their right mind wants war? Because you have to remember that any god can usually do their inverse. A god of war can do peace. It's just figuring out how to meander around to that personality. So he's down there. And there's the greeting level that you fall into after you fall down the shaft. It's utterly delightful. I have to fall in a lot of the places on this map. And he has, up in their meeting room, the highest part, consciously, because it's like a spiral going up. Their meeting room, their place of peace. Blah, 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 blah. There's, he'll be there, and he'll be throughout. Loki will be throughout too. Loki has all his little play areas and everything to keep him from getting in everybody's hair when they're trying to make peace. I go, what? And he has play areas. He has video game areas. He has places to watch movies, and there's places where he can go off and he can be, on the sea with all the floaties and, playing and beach chairs and everything. So he's got plenty to do. I love Loki to the moon and back, but he is very much the trickster figure. His brother is too, but he's more so. So half of making a place for both of them is figuring out a way to keep Loki entertained so he stays out of everybody's hair. And he goes, what? He knows he does it. He knows he drives people crazy. It's his chief pride and joy. He loves to do it. And, Odin can be playful too, but I at first put him on the back end of the map because I was like, But then I realized that it was kind of innate wisdom because he needs this quiet, beautiful area that, the trickster will hop over there, Will Fox will hop over there, and then, you know, this isn't fun, and he'll wander right back out. It's like you can feel the energy change. Anything for Loki is like up and lifted, and the very Loki parts are like bouncy. But, the Odin healing part is like, okay, Loki can't be bouncing around now. There are sick people here. They have to heal. He can't be bouncing around. They're behaving. I've never seen those two get along this well. So it's a really great build. And we're not quite done yet. I have a feeling that I get on a lot of these builds. We've been doing it a couple days now. First time I've worked this map. So it's like, I feel like we're done. I feel like we're done. I've left about half the map bare, so they have that sacred, it looks like a desert. So they have that too, and there's absolutely nothing on it. I did it on purpose. But I have a feeling more's to come, and I have no idea what it is, but you know, it'll come. Maybe when we're done, maybe when we're done, if you guys are interested, we'll take you for a tour, but I have to ask them. It might be one of those things where they're like, no, just for us. But they didn't mind me talking about that. Odin's very proud to be that god that comes down, you know, is with Jord. Thor is a result. And, you know, he's very proud and very, you know, he's very protective of and wants the very best for this planet. And we usually don't talk about that because we're usually all, you know, on different tangents when we talk about the old man. But it's very much very protective, and it was very endearing, like just madly in love with this planet, madly in love with the earth goddess, make everything as beautiful, 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 beautiful as possible. Kind of like bringing her back to life, and just, it was so sweet and wholesome. I never thought I'd say that about the old man, but there it was. It was the god that can't get enough of the earth goddess. It was the most endearing thing I've ever seen. Because remember, Odin sees no higher authority than Odin. Odin sees himself as that god, as the god of the universe. He sees no higher authority. You will not convince him otherwise. So if you guys like what you see, like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you later. Bye bye.